What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another session of Coffee and Martial Arts. Salud, salud, salud. Cheers. Nice. Yes, sir. Well, everybody, thank you for being here on a Sunday. Yes, I usually don't do this on Sundays, but today it's a special Sunday. Yes, sir. We have a tremendous martial artist all the way from London, Ontario, Canada, who's here today. But before we go there, you know me, I have to share the proper announcements. Okay, so let me remind you that we are going live through our Facebook page, Master Frank Soto Kinetic Dragon page. Yes, sir. So please like and subscribe and share. Share the video, share the page. That usually helps a lot with the algorithm so we can get to more people and send this positive message of martial arts to all the enthusiasts and all the martial artists out there. Okay, we're also going live through our YouTube channel, the Kinetic Dragon channel. So like and subscribe and click on the little bell so you get notified every time we go live, okay? We also go live through the Internacional Hall of Fame page of Argentina, okay? That's an amazing group of martial artists down in Argentina, down south. Okay, this is the cover of the magazine. They do a magazine every month. They put it on paper and also digital. It's available already in their Facebook page. You get the link there. And, you know, there's my article there, February. I'm always collaborating with these guys. Saludos, Master Juan Martin Alvarez. Thank you for including me. Okay. Let's see. So please leave a comment or ask questions, okay? Remember, we are here for you, so like and share this video, okay? We already have people saying hello, but before we go there, let me bring in the man of the hour. Yes, sir. Okay, here we have with us Kenpo Associate Professor, Maestro Scott James Southwell. Hello, sir.
Hello, guys.
Hello, I'm sorry. I need more coffee.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, sir. I'm sorry. I got to say, this was set for last Sunday, but like you can hear, I got sick. I got a nasty infection, my throat, and so I got to get, you know, the medication and everything, and rest and so forth. So I didn't go live for a week, but I'm back, and we're ready.
We're glad you're healthy.
Thank you, sir. It wasn't, you know, the virus or anything like that, thank God. But still, we have to be very careful with our health these days. Okay, so we have people saying hello. Maestro John Ward will not miss this show. Greetings from Ireland.
Hi.
Thank you, sir. Hello.
Thank
Juan
you.
Carlos Martinez saying salud, a cordial saludo from Argentina.
Hello, Argentina.
Sifu Ernesto Colbrenner saying also salud, maestros. A hug from the heart from Argentina,
Hello.
Santa Fe. Gracias. Let's see. Stuart James Gray. Hello, gentlemen. And Kenpo salute to you both. I'm watching live from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And I would just like to say hi to my longtime friend and traveling buddy, Scott.
Stuart, hey, my good friend, my old student of mine. I love the guy.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Let's see. The Foothill Dojo says, greeting, gentlemen, from the wilds of sunny Tojunga.
Hi. Good morning.
See. Jeffrey, my good buddy, Jeff.
Oh,
the
Jeffrey,
Foothill is me. We know, Jeff, yes. Had to change the page. No worries, my friend. Yep. Thank you for being here, saying hello. So, let's start. First, I want to say thank you for accepting the invitation to be here today. And like I said, I'm very sorry about last Sunday.
Oh, no, no problem.
Out of my hands. I couldn't even, actually, I couldn't speak. It was that bad. I couldn't even swallow well. But we're here today. So I appreciate that you are here and that you take the time to be here. So I wanted to ask, I always ask my guests, could you give us like, a brief introduction or background of how you started in the martial arts and how you get to where you're at now? I say brief because it's only an hour, so we have much to talk about.
Okay. Well, it all started for me in 1978. I was about 15 years old. Now, I was bullied a lot as a kid, but that's not really. I kind of before I started martial arts, I started to fight back, and I wasn't really bullied as much. But and I don't want to talk about that yeah, that picture. There's my first certificate I got from a seminar I went to in 1979, and I was so upset that they spelt my name wrong. They spelled Southwell with a C. I went back and he put an S in there. But anyways, I started. My father, and God bless his soul, he's been gone since I was 17. He passed away, but he was to say it lightly, kind of like a bully. Okay, so really, I started the martial arts for that reason because uh, I wanted to kind of be able to protect myself. But anyways, without talking bad about him, um, I started martial arts then with my sensei at the time, Ken Talik, in London. I'm still good friends with him. I taught for him yesterday on Zoom for one of his camps that he has. But I started then, um, and I went to a couple of clubs. There wasn't a lot of martial arts around back then, but I went to a couple. I was in a club and sat down, watched a class, and this guy comes out and just starts beating the crap out of this brown belt, and I was like there's blood and everything. I was like, they, $20 to join back in '78. I was like, I can get this at home or I can get this on the street. I'm not gonna. I don't need to spend $20 to get this. You know what I mean? But anyways, so I trained with Master Talik for a number of years, and then I went to. He left. We actually the club burnt down that we had. I lost a lot of my gear. I lost all my gear, and we did different and do demos, like demonstrations at fairs and in malls and stuff. And whenever it was in the newspaper, if I was especially part of it or I was there, I would take the and whatnot. But anyways, I had a lot of that stuff in my. Um, but then I went off and I did a bit of boxing. I probably joined about 4 boxing clubs in my life. Recently, up until about 4 years ago, I stopped doing it. Then I trained in Goju-Ryu as well with another. That was with Ken Talik was Goju-Ryu. We did a Goju-Ryu Kung Fu, which was a version of Hung Gar. It was a 5-animal Kung Fu. And there's the first pads we ever got. And I was testing them out because we used to fight bare knuckle. We never had pads, I remembered. But we got those, and I was kind of showing off. I don't know. I think maybe my sister might have taken a picture of that. So we did Goju-Ryu Kung Fu at the beginning, which was quite interesting. And then I trained again on with some Goju-Ryu from one of his students after my sensei. He actually moved to Japan. Ken Talik ended up moving to Japan. He's back now, but he lived there for a number of years, training with some of the greats there. Then I trained in. I was working with a guy. It's funny because I was working with a guy who's a second. Oh, there's one of the pictures of we would do demos. Me and my buddies would do demos for our friends, and that was me dressed up. I don't know what I was supposed to be there, but I had a stick that was supposed to be a bow staff, and we'd beat on each other in the backyards, and And of course, that was before cell phones, and that we just.
Of course.
But anyways, I thought it was really cool back then. But then I worked with this guy that was a second degree in judo, and he was teaching me some stuff, and I would go to his he'd go to these tournaments, and I'd watch him compete. And I thought that was really cool. But I think I kind of got to I determined in my head that getting hit on the floor, that landing on the floor was wasn't going to be a good thing for the future. So I did quite a few of different things along the way. Me and a bunch of guys, we got together. Rick Tapp and those guys from those days, we'd just get together and we'd fight. That's all we wanted to do was fight. We didn't care about our rank and everything. So we were doing a version of kickboxing and whatnot. And back in those days, I'll tell you a quick story. I know we only have an hour. You should have booked me for longer. I like to not. We were Sensei Talik and some guys were going to Japan to fight, and I was kind of hoping I could go. I was always a big guy. I was always been over 200 pounds. So I was thinking, geez, they're going over to do some shoot fighting, and I just loved to fight back then. I still do, but I'm getting older. I'm gonna be 60 next year, and so anyways, I'm this is in the 80s, and I'm thinking, geez, I would like to be able to go, but I knew I was a big guy, so I went on a cabbage soup diet, and it was supposed to be able to lose weight, and you eat cabbage soup in a big pot, and you eat bananas, and I got so sick. I got so sick. I mean, I lost weight, but not to where I should have been. But I looked horrible. I was so weak as a kitten. I couldn't fight my way out of a wet paper bag. And it's funny because it was during the time in the 80s when the AIDS was really. So I'm telling people, I don't have AIDS. I'm on this cabbage soup diet. No. But my face was. I was just so weak. Anyways, I ended up not being able to go anywhere because or fight in any tournaments anywhere because at that time I was sick. But anyways, going on. Then after these, I teach the odd person because I remember, and this is he passed away recently. So, but he was a dance instructor, and I worked with him. He had his own studio at his house, and he wanted to learn how to fight because he always said, if I'm ever in the street and someone comes and attacks me and my daughter and my wife, I don't know how to fight, And I said, well, I tell you what, I'll train you, and you teach me how to dance, because it was right around, I like the dirty dance, Patrick Swayze, the dirty, So I thought, you teach me how to dance, I'll teach you how to fight. So I'd be in his studio, and he'd be teaching me how to dance, and then we'd spend the next hour, and I'd teach him, to throw some punches, and we'd throw on the gloves, and we'd go, So I often thought it'd be pretty funny if someone ever looked through the window and saw us 1 minute dancing, and then then I would be teaching them how to fight. Anyways, and then it took a few years because I don't want to sound like I've been consistent because I've been kind of breaking. My training's been broken up, but always martial arts at heart and always doing something. And then in the early 2000s, I think the fall of 2003, I think, I was looking for something, and someone introduced me to Jamie Seabrook. He was working at the hospital, the same hospital I was working at in London, Ontario. And we met, and he was just he was young. He was only about 28 at the time, I think. And anyways, he convinced me to come on down. He was teaching out of his basement at the time, and we went over, and I went over, and that's how my Kenpo journey started. Was now, mind you, I gotta say, Kenpo's. I love Kenpo. I love Kenpo. But sometimes, I had an opportunity back in the 80s to meet, I could have met Ed Parker because he came to London, Ontario, one of the Kenpo guys. I'm not sure if it was Mike Donovan brought him in. And I was training in Goju-Ryu. And it's funny because everything, funny how things will come back and kind of bite you in the butt. Some of the guys are going to go and see Master Parker. And I was like, Kenpo. I don't want to go see that. I don't go see that slap art. You know what I mean? Like, you know, this is because I didn't know anything of, I was a traditionalist, you know, I liked the Goju-Ryu. So, of course, that comes back and bites me because I could have said, hey, I trained with that Parker. But we were together probably until about 2008, and then Jamie was somewhat under Master Tatum. He was associated with him, and then he kind of went on his own journey. And then I stayed with Master Tatum because I had built a relationship with him, and I haven't left. I've been with him since then. Been bringing him in since I think 2009. I think Stewie. Oh, this here picture here is Lori Jean and her school and her husband Aaron there. The reason I tell you, some people are just so determined and so devoted and committed. I look, you know, she's a second degree now, I believe, but I was going down teaching her and her students. She lives about an hour and 15 minutes, but I would go down and teach her and her students a couple times a month to help them get along. But she is so determined. I tell you that girl is. She's hung on to her school through COVID, which I give her all the credit because I unfortunately had to close mine because of COVID. But I just wanted to say that some students give 100%, and she really she looks cares about her students. And that one guy on the far right was here's my son. That's my son beside Master Tatum, and I'm in the background there. I think we were at David Pantano School in Philly in 07.
Okay.
I played 07. I think that's when that was. I actually first met Master Tatum in 05 in Vegas at his camp.
Okay.
At his camp, where I met a lot of the guys like Clyde O'Brien and all those guys
right.
back in the day.
Let's see, maybe.
Oh, that one picture you had up was my son being promoted. The one
This
you
one.
had up before, yeah, that was my son being promoted to black belt, and Master Tatum endorsing it. Actually,
nice. Was this your studio?
I kept saying, well, he should wait. My son's a police officer and a kickboxer, so
nice.
Busy, but he's really committed in his training. Really, really good fighter. I used to, when he was doing his kickboxing, I used to help get him ready for the matches, and I would just take a beating. That's George St. Pierre with my son. We met him in Vegas. We were at a press conference with George was supposed to fight this guy, one of the Diaz brothers. Anyways, Daniel White, yeah, there he is there. I met him, and he said, hey, you're from Canada. Did you meet George? And George had already left. I go, no, George left too fast. And he yells over to somebody, get George back here. I got Canadians here. So he went and George came back, and we had a good talk with him, and really great guys, really good guys.
Nice.
Mike Tyson, yes, we that was quite the visit. That one, we were in Vegas, and we were trained. We went down there and trained at the Hit Factory, which is a boxing club that Mike Tyson would frequent when he went to. Anyways, he wasn't at the club, and we man, we want to see my son. I just really want to meet Mike Tyson. I said, look, the chances of us meeting Mike Tyson are slim to none. So get that out of your head, right? So we're walking through Vegas, and we go into the Riviera, I think it was, and without a word of a lie, Mike Tyson walks by me with 4 guys. And I went, oh, it's Mike Tyson. So he's over getting food at this court, and I'm getting my camera ready. I'm shaking, and we're the one guy stops me. I was like, because he goes, don't bug Mike when he's going to eat. I go, okay, no problem. So anyways, Mike looks over and sees my son and I. He comes walking over to us. You know how he walks in the ring? He's walking towards us like that. Oh my, here, we're going to take a beating here. Anyways, he goes, hey, you want to get a picture? I go, yeah. So I told him we're from Canada. Well, and he was just like, I love Canadians. And so we got a picture of him with him. My son got a picture with him, and we talked for a little bit. And then people started seeing who he was, and they started coming around, and all his bodyguards kind of went like, bodyguards or buddies or whatever they're kind of telling everybody to kind of back off, and he had to go get his food. Anyways, that was a amazing time.
Nice. Okay, we have some more people. We have some more people saying hello. Let me just bring some of the comments. Arturo Herrera, sí, saludos, Master, saludos.
Hello.
Nos vemos pronto. Carlos Villarroel, buena tarde, Big Master. How you doing? Salud from Brazil, Manaus. Saludos from Master Scott. Buen Domingo Marcial. Good Sunday and coffee. Obrigado. God bless. Thank you.
And tea.
Yes, and tea, of course. My good friend, Maestro Roberto Almagro.
Ah, Roberto.
Greetings from Ecuador, brothers.
He's going to be teaching along with you at the camp, yes.
Yes, can you talk about that?
Yes. So next weekend, next Sunday, I'm holding a Zoom camp. It's for Master Tatum, and it's the second one we've held Zoom-wise. I mean, I'm trying to. I used to bring him to Canada, bring him up to Canada once a year, sometimes twice a year. But since COVID, we haven't been able to do that, and so I'm trying to do this to help. I believe in the old style and the old ways of you support your instructor. Oh, there it is. There, yeah. So if they want to go on my site or your site, whatever, you can lead them to me. All I really need is their email address. And I'll give them a link next week to pay through PayPal to Master Tatum. It goes to Master Tatum, and there's Master Soto and Roberto Almagro, and Damian Abbott is going to be teaching as well, and of course Master Tatum. So I've got. Right now, until I can start bringing him back into Canada, I'm going to try to do a couple to 3 of these a year just to help support him. And also, hey, who doesn't want to just train from home? You don't have to worry about traveling. I know you don't get to hit each other, but you still learn.
Yes, no, it's a good.
And you save on the price of gas with the price of gas these days. Holy mackerel!
Good.
So that's coming up next Sunday. Next Sunday at 12. It starts at 12 o'clock Eastern time.
Okay. Let's see. Martin Vesga, salud maestros from Chile.
Nice.
Saludos, maestro.
Nice.
Stuart James Gray says, ask Scott about how he got his passion and love for giant sea turtles.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's a story. I was with him. Actually, he was one of the part of the group. We were flown into Barbados to teach at a martial arts expo. Okay, and Joe Bazagli was there. Frank Grigoro. We're all part of a group that was flown in there. Anyways, we had I think we taught for 3 or 4 days, and we had 3 days. That's in Barbados, actually. That's with me and Mr. Rigoro. Yeah, very good friend of mine. That's that's my pose there. Anyways, we're on. I don't swim. I don't people who know me know I hate swimming because I almost drowned when I was a teenager, and I hate it. I just don't like swimming. Anyways, we're on this rum, like a rum boat. You go there and drink rum. So we're all in this rum boat and drinking rum, and like I said, I don't swim. So anyways, had a few too many rum punches or whatever it is. We get to this area where you can jump off the boat, like a little ship, and you jump off the gangplank. You walk out the gangplank and jump, and you can swim amongst the sea turtles. And these sea turtles are huge, right? They're like the big shells. So I jump off this gangplank, and I'm in there floating around, thinking this is pretty cool, talking to this one guy, and I'm not. And then the one thing they told us, don't touch the sea turtle, don't touch them, which I didn't. I didn't touch the sea turtle. And they had a guide in the water with us, like one of the Barbados natives in there with us. So, anyways, the sea turtle comes between me and this guy talking, and he kind of hits us. So his shell hits me on one side, and the shell hits his. I thought that was kind of weird. Anyways, I look over, and I'm kind of a little bit further away from the boat than I like to because I'm not that good of a swimmer. So I thought, okay, I'm going to start doing the backstroke to get back to the ship. Well, all of a sudden, I look up. Now, mind you, people are all looking over who's not in the water, looking over the edge and watching. I look up and I see this big shell coming at me just underneath the water, and it bites me. The sea turtle grabs me by my boob, grabs me. So I elbow him and I push him, and the guy in the water goes, "Did he take your flesh, man? Did he take your flesh?" And I look, and of course I see blood, right? Blood coming, and now I'm thinking, sharks. Now blood, sharks. So now I'm swimming. I'm like Michael Phelps. I'm swimming like mad to the ship, And I get to the ship, and everybody's freaking out. Like everyone's freaking out. I can't believe that happened. And you elbowed him and you punched him. I'm going, no, I didn't. Don't say I punched a turtle. What I did was I heel palmed him to get him away from me. I get up there, and the captain comes, and I'm saying, you should have warned. He goes, well, this is very rare. This doesn't happen. This is. So they're cleaning. It wasn't as bad as the first look. Of course, I did bleed, but it looked more like by all said and done, a deep abrasion. You know what I mean? So that's where that. And then I met this old native from Barbados, and of course everybody knows now that I got bit. I'm the guy that got bit by a turtle. He gives me a wooden turtle necklace and says, "Now you're become one with the turtle." your spirits are connected. So anyways, that's my story. So I always tell people when they're going to Mexico or wherever they're going where there's turtles, hey, be careful of the turtles.
Be careful with the turtles. Yes, agree. Okay. Sensei Rodrigo Salas, salud from Ciudad de Mexico, Mexico City. Excellent show. Saludos,
Hello.
Sensei. Thank you. Okay. Moni Vargas, salute from Arizona.
Arizona, nice. I love Arizona.
Nice. Maestro Marcel de Jong, hello
Marcel,
from the Netherlands,
nice.
Mr. Southwell. Hope to meet sometime soon.
Yes, we must meet for sure. Yes, for sure.
Wow, nice. Okay, MJ Lee, hello, Masters. How are you from South Africa?
Wow,
nice.
Wow.
Nice.
That's quite a ways.
So cool. So, when did you start teaching, sir?
Started teaching pretty much in 2000 and probably 6 in my basement.
So you started teaching Kenpo?
Kenpo, that is Kenpo. I was teaching like years ago. I helped I used to help run the sparring classes and that in
okay.
The but in Kenpo, it was about 2006, 2007 in my basement, and then we got into a church and was teaching out of the church. But what happened was my son was really heavily into the kickboxing, so we were training a lot for his fights and whatnot. And actually, Stuart used to come and spar with my son too. So I was like, we'd have to go ask for some extra hours for the church if we wanted to do some extra sparring. Because I used to hold a Friday night fight night, is what I called it. And what I would do, invite all different schools to come to, or different people from different schools to come and fight. So it'd be Friday night. Well, a lot of people couldn't do it on Friday, or they come in and can we do it twice a week? Because if you like to fight, you like to fight. So what I did was I ended up opening up my own studio just outside of London, and I think that was in the 2008 maybe, and then I moved it to the one that I just had to close last year. But yeah, we used to the one in Lambeth. It was in the basement of the over top of a Pilates studio. So we were in the basement. and they used to call it the students used to call it the dungeon because you're not sure if you're going to come back out again. Like because the one thing I learned over the years of training with all the different people. Yeah, there he is. Stuart just called it the dungeon. Yes, right. Um, One thing I've learned is it's very important to fight to train more for the reality and for. So when we go to, we would go out and barefoot in the snow and do our katas and do our stuff in the snow. Our guys, with my more especially my senior guys, we did a lot. We still do um, bare knuckle fighting to the body. To the we won't necessarily because we all got to work and we all want to look nice. You know what I mean? So we try not to. But that happens sometimes. We'll do a more of a face slap, and that way you know that if you got that you would have been tagged. You know what I mean? But we'll do a lot of stand-up grappling and throw some hard body punches on each other, which I would introduce sometimes when I held a seminar. I say at the end of the seminar, okay, who wants to do some bare knuckle? So, anyways, especially in the Lambeth, you come out of there and there'd be holes in the wall, and like it was quite the. Yeah. Stewie would take the odd beating there, that's for sure. But all
spend
friendly
some time
though.
meditating horizontally down in the dungeon.
That's right, yeah. But I gotta say, Stewie and I came up the same. Yeah, bare knuckle for the win. Yeah, that's Jeffrey. Yeah, Jeffrey actually messaged me a few months ago, introduced himself to me, and as a Canadian, and a very nice guy, very nice guy.
Yep.
But that's what we did, and we trained. I do a lot of like live training, so we get knives, like fake knives, and I'm not the biggest fan on some knife techniques, but we try to modify this and that. And so what we've done is put white T-shirts on, have our fake knives, and put lipstick on the. Don't ask me where I got the lipstick, but we had lipstick at the dojo. So. Put lipstick on the knives, and then we would do different scenarios where the guy comes out and attacks you, and then you see how many times you might have been slashed or stabbed, whatever. It's quite interesting kind of training. And same as like with I did a little bit, not very much. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I've done a little bit of jiu-jitsu, a bit of Japanese jiu-jitsu as well as Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And again, we would one of my black belts, Todd Grove, is also a black belt in jiu-jitsu, Japanese jiu-jitsu. And so we would do some training where you're doing this and you're doing that, and then I would have one of the fighters stick a knife in their back of their belt, and at any given time, if he could get that knife out to stab the other person during that grappling. You know what I mean? Just to see how vulnerable you could be, because you never know when you're on the ground what they have, right? And you're leaving yourself vulnerable. And a lot of techniques can leave you vulnerable for stuff like that.
Right. Johnny Restovic Carmona, salud from Chile. Saludos.
Chile, yes. I must get to Chile.
Yes, beautiful place, man. Beautiful place. You'll love it there. Okay. So yes.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it's like going back to teaching. I love teaching, and we have, I still have some kids that I teach. Really, I think people don't understand. Like when I was starting to do martial arts, I had to struggle with confidence. Confidence, and people would, all through your life can say, you're not good enough to do this, you're not good enough to do that. So I think people sometimes. Instructors don't realize what they say, whether it's to a child or an adult. that could affect them later in life. You know what I mean? Like if you put a child down, or like if I can go back and say, I never got a lot of encouragement from my father or whatever. You know, people can use whatever excuse, and that's where a lot of this, I think, our job as instructors, I think, is kind of missing in some schools. You know what I mean? Is to really build the students up. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to say one lesson I learned early on is when my father died, my sensei, Kenpo, I had called and said, I don't even know if he remembers this. He'll probably watch his podcast. He's in California right now. I called and said I can't afford to take lessons anymore. My father passed away. I was working a part-time job, and so I thought, I can't afford it. I'm going to have to help my mom, whatnot. And I never forget this, and I've done this myself throughout my career teaching. Is he said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about paying. Just come. And I did, and eventually I could start paying again. But that was a lesson that I never forgot. And I never ever let a student walk away from me because of money. It's not about the money. You know what I mean? Like, so that just saying, like, different lessons like that are very important, and that we can also pass on to our students.
Nice.
Am I rambling?
What's that?
Am I rambling?
No. That's good. I wanted to ask something. You mentioned it a little bit earlier about fighting and the importance of fighting and making it as live as possible. How do you bring your Kenpo, your techniques, your moves, and your basics into fighting? Do you have like a special method to do that? Or because a lot of people, when they spar, they go more into the basic stuff, like more kickboxing setup, or do you apply your Kenpo?
Yeah. Well, with the sparring is, I find different, and it's funny because I made a comment on Kenpo, past, present, and future, just earlier today. There's a lot of people that are really good with techniques, good with forms, can out talk most of us. I mean, I'm not claiming to be anything. I mean, I'm probably the least talented. You know what I mean? But when it comes to fighting, you either have it or you don't have it. And I'm not talking about sparring. I mean, sparring and fighting to me are two different things. Okay, because there's rules in sparring. It's like if you haven't experienced, if someone hasn't experienced what it's like to be attacked. Now, I think that's a whole lot different. I mean, I'm not saying people who get into the ring and that aren't worthy. And I mean, it takes a lot of guts to get into a ring or an octagon, or even going to. I remember going to 2008. My son and I had to go. We went to Quebec to compete in with a form of kickboxing for the provincials of Ontario, but it was still not looked upon as okay here in Ontario, so we had to go to Quebec to compete in it, and it was a WKA. It was under the WKA, and I remember walking in there, and without a word of a lie, Frank, there's a room full of black belts and fighters, and I thought, man, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? Self-doubt. I was like, should I even be here? You know, and we ended up doing fairly well. I ended up getting bronze in provincials, but I think for life, for using Kenpo, I have it. It's all up here. So before I started Kenpo, I thought I needed therapy because I would think about things to do to people in a fight. Okay, listen, without a word of lie. And I used to think, man, you're a sick person. You know, why are you thinking that? Then I start Kenpo, and I'm thinking, everybody, this is Kenpo. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking, hey, I'm not as crazy as I thought it was. So, you know what I mean? And I've been in quite a few altercations in my life, where some I could talk about, some I can't talk about. But the thing is either you have it or you don't have it. Either you can bring it on, and like I said, kickboxing, boxing is one thing, but when it happens, you got to get past that fright. I mean, you're scared. You got to get past it, and things just click, boom, boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I have. Well, I'll tell you a quick story. And if I didn't witness it myself, I would say it's a story. Years and years ago, I was only young. I was about 16 maybe, and I was at a pinball arcade. Like a pinball machine. They play these machines. And I was there with a buddy of mine. And back then, if you're, at least in Canada, if you're cool, you wore work boots and a lumber jacket. That's what, if you're a cool guy, right? So that's what we wore. Anyways, I'm playing the pinball machine, and I kind of had a thing for the daughter of this pinball place. Like they were from another country. I don't even know what country they're from. And I don't even know. I don't like, because I don't want somebody saying, "Oh, I'm using." Anyway, she was very pretty, and I was trying to get a date with her, is what it was. Anyways, the father didn't really like me. He was the owner of the pinball place. Anyways, this particular day, I was banging on the machine trying to get the ball and I'm assuming the brother or uncle, whatever, from the other country was there. He comes out and he's yelling at me in this language, and I don't know what he's saying. I don't, without a word of a lie, we're kind of yelling back and forth at each other. He pulls out a knife, okay? And he's got this knife, and he's going, right. I've seen it in movies, and I would never teach this as a self-defense because it would probably never, ever work again. But my buddy was standing next to me. He boots the knife out of the guy's hand. You've seen the movie, right? Where they kick the knife. All of a sudden, his foot goes up, kicks the knife goes flying. We get into a confrontation. I'm only 16. This guy's like 35 or 40. Anyways, a fight breaks out, and long story short, the police end up getting called, and they couldn't find the knife. I said, "Well, this guy, he pulled a knife on." Well, by then, the wives were out there, the owner, so someone had grabbed. But anyways, that doesn't, nothing ever turned out about it. But I tell you to this day, if someone said kick a knife out of their hand, it would, you hear it never works, and I would never teach it because probably it won't work. But it worked that day.
But it did.
Yeah, it did that. Yeah. So, there we go.
Stuart James says, one thing about Southwell Kenpo was that it was a fighting school. Ask Scott about our first trip together to Philly and the night we got there and had to spar.
Oh, yes. That was Dan Mack. You know Dan Mack?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we went down there to fight their school, to spar their school. Me and my son and a couple other, Stewie was there. I think Carl was with us. And we drive down there. Yeah, there's a bunch. Yeah, that's there. That group right there was pretty much all the. Well, no, Craig Lowe is one of the LTKKA. He wasn't there, but we kind of had a picture of all of us at the time. That was the East Coast and the Canada Tatum connection type of thing. Anyways, we went down there. We drove down. I think it was 10 hours from London, and we had to spar. I thought we were sparring on the Saturday. We get there and they're already geared up, so we had to quickly get our gear on, and we were we had a great time. It was fantastic. It was, and then we did some teach. I think I taught and Dan taught the next day. But yeah, it was. We'd go around to different schools and fight their schools and stuff like that. That's fun as friends. So I mean, not as.
We've seen that one. Let's see.
Oh, that's. Oh yes. That, I was at one of the times I was in California doing privates with Master Tatum. I went to Bob White's event. That's nice. A very white picture. But that's when I first met all these guys, Brian Duffy and Tom Kelly and Gilbert Velez. and they all took us from. And it's funny because that's they had like a van or a SUV type of vehicle. We were going from the event to go get something to eat, and there wasn't enough room for me and Gilbert, so they put us in the trunk. We were in the, sitting in the trunk of this SUV, and Tom Kelly kept joking and said, "Well, if you hang around long enough, we might let you ride up front with us." But yeah, that was a good trip. I got to referee at or judge and referee at Bob White's um, tournament that he has the next day for the kids.
Yeah, a couple
Very,
of
very.
gentlemen there are not with us anymore.
No, you're right. Yes, Sifu LaBounty and Master Kelly. Yes,
Kelly, yeah, they're both gone.
two
Yeah,
great guys. I mean, they made me feel at home. Bob White and Barbara White, same thing. Made us feel at home. What a great people. I just really look up to them. Really, I do.
nice. Let's see, we have another picture here.
Friends, my connection, my Quebec connection, and the guy to my or to if you're looking at the picture to the left is Thomas Getling, a very good martial artist from um, Long Island, I think, around New York. He brought me into his group, and wow, I learned a lot from these guys. And traveled, like I went down there and trained with them at stayed at his house actually. He allowed my student and I to sleep in his house, and yeah, great guys. Those that's funny because when you do traveling, and that's why I tell my students, I said, you get out there and you travel and meet the people that you meet are like I would never have the experiences I have now without without those opportunities to travel, and people also introduce me to other people. You know what I mean? Like it's just amazing. And I've had the opportunity, and I always are very appreciative about it. Is I've been able to teach across the states in Barbados. Um, and it's funny because I tell a story whenever I travel somewhere, and I usually get a good laugh about it. But I was in my son and I were in Cave City, Kentucky. So this place is where all the live onyx caves are. You go there and you do tours and whatnot. Anyways, we were there, and he was quite young at the time, and I was there, and this biker gang came into town. Okay, so it's a small town, not very. And so we went into town, and all these bikers are all over the place. And I wanted to buy a cowboy hat or cowboy boots. I get this thing about cowboy boots and hats and stuff. So I go in this store and we're looking around, and I'm talking to the owner, and I said, because I take a size 13, 14 foot shoe. So I think I was asking, do you ship to Canada? So anyways, this biker comes behind the rack and says, how come you don't say A? I went, wow. I'm kind of pushing my son behind me. I'm going, hey, I'll say whatever you want me to say. So he says, hey, you know what the difference between a guy from Canada and a guy from New York City is? I go, no. He goes, the guy from Canada says, let's go for a beer, eh? And the guy from New York City goes, hey, let's go for a beer. Right? That's a joke, right? So I tell this joke anywhere. I get laughs, except for when I taught in New Jersey and New York with it. They go, yeah, what's so funny about that? Hey. Anyways, but to for the experiences that like Stuart's done a lot of traveling with me. We went to Kentucky once in a snowstorm, and we should have turned around a half an hour from here and went home, but we kept going. It was the most horrible snowstorm. But once we got to a certain point, because we were heading more south, then everything cleared up. It was just a wonderful. But we wouldn't have had the experience that we had there. That's where Master Tatum was teaching, and we went there, and But, oh yeah, these guys are. That's Master Ken and his crew. I had the opportunity to meet them and talk to them, and I think that was at Bob White's event actually.
Nice, nice. Well, we still have like 10 more minutes to go. Um,
Perfect.
let me say, let's see. We have a comment here. Ah, there you go. Um, I thought we were going to die, said Stuart.
Well, that was on that trip to Kentucky. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
I bet.
Um, so so going, I was going to tell you, my wife and I worked in the psychiatric institute for years.
Jeffrey says, great interview. Apologies that I'm cutting out a little early. I've got to teach there.
Great to hear from you, Jeffrey. We got to get together one day. Yes, yes, for sure.
Take care, my friend.
Absolutely.
So you were saying, sorry.
So, anyways, some of the live training was also came from my work in the psych, and I did some door work like security and whatnot. But you never knew what. Yes, it would be nice. Yes, Jeffrey. Yes, for sure. And I remember there was one time I worked in a lockdown unit, and they called us over to the next unit because there was three of us, so one of us could get to go. And the unit was a less of a lockdown, so they had a pool table, like a billiards table. And one of the guys, his patients there, whipping pool balls at us, right? So we had to come up with a plan with these chairs to go around, you know what I mean? Like, so things like that, or like they would get a hold of a syringe or, you know what I mean? So he was constantly disarming these poor people. I mean, they're psychiatric patients, but I mean, they were, not all crazy because sometimes the meds just weren't right. You know what I mean? So they would go off. But yeah, so I mean, I try to share as much of my experiences with my students that I can, both from life and from my martial arts. And like I said, I give all thanks to all my past instructors, all my peers that I learned from. I never ever look at someone that's like a white belt or a black belt that I can't learn from him. I'll tell you a quick story. When I was in I think I was in I think it might have been at David Pantano's. But anyways, I remember I was training with a guy. He just came back from. I was partnering up with him, and he was a brown belt, and he just came back from the Persian in the army, and I was partnering up with him. And I tell you, this guy was good, and made me go. I had to go step up my game. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes you look at people like that. Like if we all just put a black belt on and no stripes, no nothing, and we all trained on the mat together, you might look at someone and go, "Hey, that guy's a fifth degree, or this guy's he might only be a first." You know what I mean? Or you might look at someone and go, "That guy's probably just a first. He might be an eighth degree." You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, I look at people that inspire me, and sometimes it's someone that might be a younger rank than me, or whatever, or an older guy than me that's still going strong. And I went, wow, I want to do that at 70.
Nice. So, what is it that made you stick to Kenpo? I mean, you had experience in other arts before it, but you stayed with Kenpo. What was?
I
what
still
was
do. The art of caboodle, the weapons, and that. I do that every weekend with Laura Civic or my instructors. So I still like the traditional arts, and I still do a bit of Goju-Ryu whenever I see it or if I'm somewhere. But Kenpo, I just connected, and I think it came fairly easy for me, and kind of thought about stuff like that, and plus it makes me feel like I'm not as crazy as I thought I was, because there's actually art out there teaching this stuff. But I think I don't know. I just like it, and like don't get me wrong. I mean, there's so much more. I mean, I'm just a junior compared to most people. But I think it's connected. I connected to it, and I love it, and I just like the flow of it. I like when I ask Master Tatum something, I don't usually always get the answer. He makes me figure it out or try to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'll have to go back. I got to go back to the drawing board and try to figure it out, and then he'll tell me I'm right or I'm wrong. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I just love it. Aspect of it. I love kata. A lot of people don't like kata, like the forms.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I like them. I like I like long seven. Long five is okay. Probably I don't mind long five. I guess I shouldn't say that. There's nothing really I don't like. Just some I like better. And same as technique. Some techniques I go and I'll teach them the traditional way because I'm Master Tatum has taught me. Because I used to go down to California and do privates with him, and he kind of redid the whole system with me as far as we could get.
Right.
Yeah, don't do it that way. Let's do it that way. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like a real eye opener. Even like for the yellow belt and orange belt stuff, it'd be like, because you were with them, you trained with them. It's different when you're with them and hands on, and it's like wow, like long four when he taught me long. But you re-taught me long four. It was like wow, there's stuff in there that I had no idea. Like like crazy. It was like I felt like a white belt actually. It was I might as well threw out my black belt and put on a white belt.
Nice. So before we go, let me just remind people of the seminar next Sunday, next weekend.
Next Sunday, yes.
Sunday the 27th. Remember, there's going to be the Southwell's Kenpo is hosting Larry Tatum's International Zoom Camp. Okay, so just get in touch with you, right?
Yeah. Get in touch with me, and if you can't find me, get in touch with you, and you can send them to me or whatever.
Yes.
And all I need from them is their email and their email address, and then I'll have them send payment to Master Tatum next week.
Nice.
And it's only $50, and $50 is a great bargain for what they're going to be getting.
Yeah, and you're going to get instructors from all over the world. So you got Master Tatum from USA, from Prescott, Arizona. You got Master Damien Abbott from England. You got Master Roberto Almagro from Ecuador, and myself from Mexico. So that's an international group right there.
Absolutely.
So
and they get to see my Canadian mug too. So
okay, so if anybody wants to contact you, they can reach you at your Facebook page, right?
Yeah, and it's Scott James Southwell. Yep. There I am. There. Yep.
Okay, so if you want to know more, or you're still teaching, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, well, sir, I just got to say thank you very much for being here today. I really appreciate this. This was great. Thank you for sharing the stories.
I hope I didn't talk too much. I've been known to.
No, this is good. This is what it's all about, right? This was your hour, sir.
I suppose it wouldn't go over too well if I just sat here and didn't say anything, right?
No, yeah, that would be hard. Stuart says, great interview. Looking forward to more. It's up to your channel. Oh, thank you. Cool. Okay, so
that's too bad Master Tatum couldn't. Master Tatum was going to pop in and say hi, so he must be busy. But
well, we'll say hello to Mr. Tatum, and we'll see him next weekend at the event, right?
And it's 12 o'clock Eastern time is when it starts. This, so everybody knows.
Okay, so 12 o'clock Eastern time. I think I have like the third. I'm going to be the third instructor, I believe so.
I think yes. I think you're the third. Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so
thank you again. Oh, it's my honor. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody that watched this. I hope you have a great Sunday. Take care and bye-bye.